of my life. And in this part, I'm going to concentrate on my jobs. So basically, well, besides the little jobs when you're a teenager, that doesn't count. But then I don't remember the years, I think it was 93 or 94, I went to the Marangoni Institute of Fashion in Milan. And there I did 3 years. And after that, my objective was to go to New York. And so I did. And I packed my bags and went to New York, got a job in Figaro Total Designs. That was a studio, a textile studio on 35th Street. I really enjoyed working there. They were almost all Koreans, and my colleagues, one was Jill, the other one's Karen. I hope they might be watching. Who knows? Anyways, I wasn't a designer, and I wasn't a textile designer, which I should have been because that's what I studied 3 years for. So I used to paint, basically, like these pillows here. This is what I used to do. Like this fabric comes from a New York company, and I used to paint these flowers. You paint them on paper, and then they get put on fabric. So I'm very picky with my fabrics because I really like them. Anyways, I didn't really do that because I know 3 languages. So they used me for other things, and I worked. I was like a transit between the artist who actually does that and the designer. So I would go to the designer, and the designer would say, I want this and this and this, these colors with this feel for this market. And so I would go to the artist and tell him that. And so we would build collections on that. Of course, then I got the opportunity to go into another studio, which is right down the street. And this studio was called Kaleidoscope. So from that, which I really enjoyed working at Figaro Total Designs, and my boss was amazing, him and his wife, and my colleagues too, but I wanted something more. So I went to this other studio called Kaleidoscope, and my boss was this like single career woman. And she gave me a lot because I started going to important places and seeing important clients like Oscar de la Renta, I don't know, Perry Ellis and Nautica. And I was her assistant, basically. So if you've ever seen the movie The Devil Wears Prada, I was her, okay? And so I was running around everywhere, and my life was really hectic. I was alone in New York. I used to live in Tudor City, which is right in front of the UN building, beautiful area. And I stayed there. Then my life was like, I got home late at night. Well, you probably know how it is working in New York if you have worked in New York. It wasn't, to me, that wasn't life. So in the end, I did many important things, and then I also did get me the coffee and do other things like that. And so I said, you know what, this is not for me, I'm leaving. So I said bye-bye, like the girl in The Devil Wears Prada. And then I said, I didn't even know if I wanted to stay in New York anymore, and then fashion, that whole world to me was like, I don't know, very, very fake, very, they were all hypocrites, and they would just talk about things that weren't nice. And I had a different knowledge of what beauty was and what, fashion and trends were. And then in New York, it's a whole different atmosphere there. I don't know. I mean, I'll probably do a video about this because, I'm starting to talk about it, and I have so much to say, but maybe I'll do another video. Anyways, so I did my time at Kaleidoscope. Then I went back to Milan, and I went to work in this high fashion company that did high fashion textiles. And I stayed there 2 years. And unfortunately, I wasn't going anywhere because from New York to Milan, I went kind of backwards. Anyway, I went there, stayed there for 2 years. Then I went to this other studio called A+A, and I was his assistant. He was like an amazing guy, really creative. Stayed there and still wasn't for me, always because I knew languages, and so I was never able to do what I really loved, and that was painting and creating collections. And anyway, so because I had tried before, and probably do another video about this, I wanted to be I wanted to work for a quaderno di tendenza, and I don't remember how you say that in English. It's these magazines that cost like 5,000 euros, and basically they tell you the trends for the next 2 years, what they're going to be. So there's a lot of research in that, and that's what I wanted to do, and I didn't. So in the end, I said forget fashion. Of course, always keeping in mind that makeup was my #1 priority out of all this, but I couldn't, because back when I used to live in Montreal, I was one of the first people to use MAC, probably in 1990. I was in love and obsessed with MAC, and that's how my passion started, you know, getting bigger and bigger. And then I couldn't pursue my makeup career because that wasn't a job for my parents, of course. So anyway, back to New York. I left New York. Then I went to Milan. I had 2 different jobs there. That didn't go well. By that time, I was living with this guy, so also that was a big part of my choices too. I stopped with fashion. I have no regrets whatsoever. I don't think that was my career because of my languages. They were always using me for my languages. I was traveling to Europe and back and forth. Some people might think that's exciting, but I didn't like that, okay? I just wanted to stay in one place, very calm, and do my painting, my drawing, and that didn't happen. I was going everywhere, going to clients in Europe and back and forth, and that wasn't me. Anyways, after the fashion, I said, what the hell, I'll go into makeup because that's my favorite, you know, that's my passion. So I started going into makeup. I did some fashion shows. I was really happy. Important fashion shows too. Some models, some famous models. They were famous in Italy, of course. And then I went to Sanremo. It's a famous festival here in Italy. Anyways, that was, you know, pretty good. And of course, I think I'm good at what I do. And I think makeup that I apply is really nice also on other people. So I started doing obviously normal people. I worked in a salon, and then I did fashion shows. Anyways, they weren't paying me, and my true love was fashion shows. So I had to stop with that because I had to pay the bills. So then after that, I started also doing semi-permanent makeup. You know, that's the tattoo for the eyebrows, the lips, the eyeliner. And that was good. That was paying me. But there was something, you know, probably my relationship wasn't going right at the time. I don't know. Most probably it was that. So then I started going, I said, stop with makeup. I can't. And I started going into teaching. And so I started teaching in Milan. Then I got sick of Milan, and I came down here, down south. And I continued teaching, but I wasn't back to Milan at the British Institute. It's a private school in Milan. Still wasn't happy there, and I came back 5 years now, and I teach in the Navy, and I love it. And what is great about this is that I'm able now with this YouTube to work on my makeup passion and love, you know, because I love makeup, I love art. And so I have to let out my creativity somehow, somewhere. And so, I don't know, 10 minutes is not a lot of time to talk about, you know, your whole life since 1993 when I started working. And I have, like, I guess lots more to tell you. So I'll do videos here and there. And I tell you what was going on in New York and what I used to do in Milan, because I think it's kind of interesting and you might want to know. So anyways, that's more or less my second part, my jobs, and I'll tell you also about the fashion shows that I went to and what I did, and semi-permanent makeup. I can do a video on that. So anyways, stick around, and I hope you enjoyed it, and see you later. Bye.